Next on NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
It's a nuisance and it can cause economic loss. Ahead, we'll have tips on controlling horn flies. Also, we'll head to Colorado State University to learn more about how value is being added to the beef carcass. Plus, a preview of some exciting new beef products hitting store shelves.
And now, NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen with your host, Susie Ross.
Hello, I'm Susie Ross. Thanks for watching Cattlemen to Cattlemen. In this week's cattle industry news, animal welfare is drawing a lot of attention on Capitol Hill. At a House Agriculture Subcommittee hearing, Texas rancher and NCBA member Paxton Ramsey helped counter misinformation being spread by animal rights activists. Ramsey told the committee cattlemen take great pride in providing proper care for their livestock, and they won't stay in business long if they don't. NCBA strongly supports the Ag Disaster Relief Plan that has cleared the U.S. House. Prolonged drought, winter storms, and spring flooding have devastated many farms and ranches over the past year. The relief plan must still clear the Senate, and it could face a veto by President Bush, but strong bipartisan support from the House is an important step. Japan and South Korea once accounted for over half the value of all U.S. beef exports. Will we finally see more American beef sold in these markets? We have more in this week's Market Watch.
Market Watch, brought to you by Pfizer Animal Health.
Joining us today is Lynn Hines, Vice President of Information Services with the U.S. Meat Export Federation. Welcome, Lynn.
Very good to be here. Thank you.
Great to have you. Lately, we're hearing all the right things from Japan and South Korea as far as easing their restrictions on U.S. beef imports. Let's start with Japan first. That market's been open, but with some very tight restrictions. Can cattlemen expect some improvement there?
I think so. You know, there is an audit team that is in the United States this week. Essentially what the Japanese government needs to do is to show to their consumers that they've looked at our process, that the protocols that are in place are proper, and that things are ready to start moving. And what that will impact is right now every product going into Japan, every beef product, has to go through 3 different inspections, a private inspection, if you will, before it actually gets to the government inspectors. And that's been a bottleneck. It's not only tied up product, but it just is a very slow process. By getting rid of that, we believe that product will immediately double. And then as we move to some of the other restrictions like 20 months of age and younger, and remove those, the product should start flowing. Japanese consumers certainly want our product. That isn't the problem. The problem is actually getting the product to them.
We all know how frustrating it's been getting the South Korean market reopened, but we're finally selling our product there, right?
In very small amounts. But the main thing that plants are doing right now is trying to get their product established in the inspection system and getting it moved in. But from what the importers tell us, there's a lot of product that is scheduled to be delivered over the next few months. And then we also have the OIE designation, which is going to come into play, and that should also provide us an opportunity to sell bone-in product. And bone-in short ribs is one of the major products that we sold to Korea in the past. So hopefully things are moving in the right direction.
High tariffs are also something that have really limited our growth in these markets. Will we see any relief in that respect?
Well, as you mentioned in your opening, we've sold a lot of product to both of these countries, even though they had high tariffs in place before. But certainly the FTA move to eventually phase out the tariffs for Korea, the possibility of also doing something similar in Japan, certainly good news for us, gives us an advantage going into those countries, and certainly for the consumers in those countries, gives them an opportunity to get great product at a reasonable price. And right now they're paying high prices for their products, so they'll appreciate that as well.
Okay, great information. Thanks, Lynn.
You're quite welcome.
Hopefully we'll have you back again in the future.
Look forward to it.
For more information on the USMEF, visit our website at cattlementocattlemen.org. Last week, we introduced you to Colorado State University Associate Professor John Skanga and U.S. Meat Export Federation Vice President Paul Clayton. This week, we're headed back to Colorado State to learn more from Skanga and Clayton about how beef research is adding value to the beef carcass when it's sold around the world.
The reason we're here today is to talk about how we add value to cattle producers, cattle in the beef industry. Our industry is great at producing corn-fed beef, high marbled corn-fed beef, and we like this nice white fat that comes on it. But unfortunately, our consumers are getting further and further away from consuming 70% lean ground beef. Now today it's 90s and 93s and 95% lean ground beef. How do we get that?
That's right. And that's a concern that is also globally, is that more and more consumers in the world are consuming animal proteins, but it has to be nutritious. And one of the things they are concerned about is the amount of fat. However, they want an enjoyable eating experience. So that is one advantage that the United States has, is because we do feed our animals, we do have a more highly palatable item that we can provide to our consumers. And so that is a big benefit. And we're probably one of the few nations in the world that do feed the animals where we can provide a high quality, very palatable item. Our competitors don't normally do that. They just don't have the grain resources to do that. So that's a very unique thing that differentiates us worldwide on the eating quality of these items.
Yeah, Paul, this is one of those unique items and subprimals that a lot of work that NCBA did with muscle profiling really focused on adding value to the chuck. There is some market for chuck roasts, specifically different times of the years in the winter months when roasts are real popular. But a lot of the times prior to being able to do things individually with higher value, we were just combining them with this fatter product to make ground beef in a lot of scenarios. And so it wasn't a very good value proposition. But now there's things we can do with them by pulling out the chuck eye itself and making steaks out of that. But if we move to this product, which is the clod, it's got a lot of really neat opportunity, and we've talked about the flat iron, and this is the flat iron right here. It's a very popular item. Almost everybody's heard of it. It's very popular in food service, and it's really added a tremendous amount of value to this clod. Also, we have the chuck tender in here, and the clod heart is in there, the ranch steak. And so we've taken this item that was very seasonal, used as a roast, so a marginal or low value item, even seasonally, or even used in ground beef, and now we've made it a food service item, a steak item, and increased the value of that subprimal.
The Beef Checkoff has helped fund muscle profile research, which led to development of the beef value cuts in the late 1990s. It's a problem that can affect your bottom line. Ahead, the Cattle Learning Center has tips on how to combat horn flies. Plus, we'll head to NCBA's Culinary Center in Chicago for a look at some new beef products hitting store shelves. But first, here's a look at this week's market summary provided by Cattle Facts.
There ain't no bugs on me. There ain't no bugs on me. There may be bugs on some of you mugs, but there ain't no bugs on me.
Canine Advantix is the one that repels and kills disease-spreading fleas, ticks, and mosquitoes. Frontline Plus doesn't repel and isn't effective against mosquitoes. So ask your veterinarian for Canine Advantix, the one that repels and kills.
Yeah, there may be bugs on some of you mugs, but there ain't no bugs on me.
Purina's wind and rain minerals are research tested and field proven to provide balanced mineral nutrition essential for cattle health, growth, and reproduction. They're highly palatable so cattle consume what they need when they need it. And wind and rain minerals special formulation resists the elements so they won't blow out of the feeder and maintain their palatability even if they've been wet. Wind and rain cattle minerals from Purina Mills, building better cattle.
In 1874, an innovation changed the beef industry forever. It was called barbed wire, and it brought an end to open-range grazing and began a whole new era of cattle management. Today, there's another breakthrough innovation changing the beef industry. It's called Draxxin, and it's one more way Pfizer Animal Health is working with veterinarians and cattlemen to open up a whole new era in animal health. To learn more about Draxxin, talk to your veterinarian.
And now, this week's Management Minute.
Today we're at the Flying Eye Ranch in Dobbin, Texas, talking about proper application of insecticide ear tags. The first thing that I want you to notice about this cow that we have in the chute today is that she has an ID tag in her ear. A lot of times producers will think that because they have ID tags in their cattle that they can't apply insecticide ear tags, and that's just not true. The proper application point for these insecticide ear tags is in the middle third of the ear. When you look inside the cow's ear, you'll notice some cartilage lines in here, and we want to find those, identify them, and get in between these cartilage lines in the middle third of the ear. When we find the correct spot, we want to apply the tag securely with our tagging device, release, turn the tag over to check and make sure it's secure. As we move to the other side of this cow, we notice this, then we get into the area that we have the ID tag already in place. A lot of times the tendency is to want to put the insecticide ear tag on the back side of the ear. This is not the proper technique. These tags need to be on the inside to work properly, and we can apply an insecticide ear tag to the inside of the ear in the correct placement that will not hinder the view of our ID tag. This is the correct placement on the middle third of the ear inside the cartilage lines on each ear. The proper technique of applying insecticide ear tags is to put 2 tags in each cow, 1 in each ear.
NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen, a television show by cattlemen for cattlemen.
Welcome back to Cattlemen. Hornfly infestations can reduce cattle gains by up to 50 pounds per head. That loss can greatly affect your bottom line. This week we're going to Texas to learn how to treat for these pests. Here's Cattlemen to Cattlemen's Todd McCartney.
In some parts of the country, the arrival of the hornfly is every bit a part of spring as the coming of the taxman. But I've got an expert here with me today, Todd Firkins, Bayer Animal Health, to talk about ways that we can stop this pest before it costs us money.
Absolutely, Todd. As you know, the hornfly is a blood-sucking parasite that feeds on the exterior of cattle. They have piercing mouth parts, penetrate the skin, and take blood meals, about 20 to 30 blood meals per day. These flies cost cattle a considerable amount of energy, Todd, on fending off fly attacks, as you can imagine.
More than just a nuisance.
Absolutely, it's more than a nuisance. There's a significant economic loss. Research studies say that approximately 15 to 50 pounds per animal per season are the losses attributed in the U.S. to hornflies.
Have we identified a threshold as far as the number of flies?
We have. Entomologists claim 100 flies per side of an animal, or 200 flies per animal, which is about the size of a palm of your hand, okay, on each animal is an economic threshold, which means it's important to control flies if they get to that level or above.
Well, with the crew having a cow in the chute, this would be a good time to take a look at the other tools that are available to address this.
Absolutely. Todd, we talked about the economic advantages to controlling the hornfly and the importance in doing so, but probably the most critical piece is that a producer follows a total fly control program.
Sure.
Here today we've got Mr. Scotty McNeil, our Bayer sales representative from South Texas. He's going to outline a well-rounded fly control program for us.
Scott, there's obviously a bunch of tools available. Let's outline.
There are 6 steps for a season-long hornfly control program that are of most importance. We need to treat when hornflies are present. Most producers like to do it when it's convenient. We need to do it when we reach that economic threshold of 200. That's the time we need to be tagging cattle.
Okay.
Number 2, knock down existing populations. We can either do that by pour-ons or by sprays. Number 3, applying insecticide ear tags for long-term solutions. That's very effective when we go in and combat against hornflies. We have a resistant face flies out there to help keep from transmitting pink eye, and also ticks. Number 4, supplemental control if high fly pressure. And number 5 and number 6, 2 most important things. and that's removal of ear tags at the end of the fly season. And number 6, rotate chemical classes, not colors.
So Scott, you're emphasizing, though, external parasites.
That's correct. Ecto means outside. Endo means internal. We're focusing on ectoparasites.
This cow here's got 2 tags.
That's correct. We need to get the biggest bang for our buck, and we need to have 2 tags in each cow, 1 in each ear, to allow us for that long-term season control.
Ahead, we'll head back to Texas, where Todd McCartney learns more about various methods of hornfly control from industry experts. We'll be right back.
To some, it's just a pasture. But to you, it's part of a livelihood to be passed along. That's why Fort Dodge Animal Health developed Cydectin with pasture health in mind. Cydectin protects against performance-robbing internal and external parasites. And it's the only insecticide proven to have no adverse effects on beneficial dung beetle populations. Cydectin from Fort Dodge Animal Health, protecting your herd and your pasture, so they can both be passed along.
From fresh tomatoes to potatoes and chicken to beef, we're as picky about our quality ingredients as you are. Because that's what we're made of.
Welcome back to Cattlemen. Let's head back to Texas, where we'll learn more about the importance of tagging calves as well as cows for effective fly control.
As we continue our topic of proper insecticide ear tag application, we talk specifically about the cow and the importance of putting 2 tags per cow in the proper location. As we talk about calves, we're going to talk specifically about the fact that it's important to tag calves with an insecticide ear tag, not only to keep horn flies under control on the calf, but also to use the calf as a vehicle to deliver insecticide from the ear tag to areas of the cow that it may not reach from the tags that we installed in her. Proper, again, we recommend that you put 1 insecticide ear tag in these calves in the same location and within the ear that we put in the cow.
If the tags are our first line of defense, what can we add to tags that you haven't mentioned?
There's a lot of tools in the toolbox that we can use, and other things like feed-throughs and dust bags can assist us in this long-term, year-round fly control program.
And don't we often see that the removal and the rotation is where we weaken?
We've got to remember those 2 R's, remove and rotate. And to help us do that, we've got an effective tool here. It's called the flywheel. It allows us to see what color the tag is, what the ingredients are, and what chemical class. We need to rotate from one to the other, whether it's from a pyrethroid to an organophosphate, because it's very important to get an effective horn fly control program year-round.
That's the take-home message, remove and rotate. You 2 gentlemen have outlined the significance of what we sometimes look as a nuisance really has economic impact.
That's correct.
But fortunately we have the tools, as you say, to combat that.
That's correct.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Now back to you, Susie.
To learn how to develop an integrated control program against horn flies, contact your veterinarian or animal health representative. You may not realize it, but new beef products are being developed each year. Ahead on Cattlemen to Cattlemen, we'll head to Chicago for a sneak peek at beef products heading to store shelves. We'll be right back.
Agriculture is a small portion of the population now, and if we're not working together, we're not going to get anywhere.
As our family, we cannot be in Washington, D.C. all the time, and I just couldn't live without NCBA representing.
They're looking out for our interests. They're there fighting for us every day.
If you got 1 cow or 2 cows or 100 cows, you need to be a member.
I'm a member of the NCBA because a long time ago, 35 years ago, I felt that I needed to know more of what my industry is doing. So I got started at the county level. If you're in the cattle industry, Now's the time to join and let your voice be heard loud and clear.
You need NCBA working for you, and NCBA needs you. It's easy to join. Just call, get online, or talk with your state affiliate and sign up today.
NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen, a television show by cattlemen for cattlemen.
Hi, I'm Ryan Resenchek from Wallace, Texas, and you're watching Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
Welcome back. The beef checkoff plays an important role in developing new beef products. NCBA's Dave Zinno has more from the Culinary Center in Chicago.
Hello, my name is Dave Zinno. I'm the Executive Director of the Beef and Veal Culinary Center located in Chicago, and today I'd like to talk to you about some exciting new products that are out in the marketplace and that we're hoping to bring to the marketplace. First, these are some new steak cuts from the chuck roll, and this work is an extension of the work we did with the Beef Value Cuts program. Some of these steaks are so new we don't even have names for them yet. Now this steak right here, the Latin name is Serratus ventralis, and this one over here is a splenius, which is quite similar to a flank steak. And what we're doing in the Culinary Center right now is developing cook timings for these steaks to help better promote them. As you can see here, this is the Serratus steak that is grilled to that beautiful medium rare that we like so much. Moving on, I want to talk a little bit about all the exciting new beef products out in the heat and serve category. And it was your checkoff dollars that helped really move this sector forward. Right here, I've got a pepper steak with rice, beef tips and gravy, and this here is a shredded beef. I really love shredded beef because it's so versatile and can take on so many different flavor profiles. All of these products are all microwavable, so you can take something that would take Mom that Sunday pot roast all day to make. You can just literally heat it up in a matter of minutes. And finally over here, we've got a food service product called breakaway corned beef. And basically what the food service operator does is take this patty, put it on a grill, and as it begins to heat, it literally breaks away into this sandwich here, a corned beef sandwich. It's just extremely exciting to see these new products out there and to see what the checkoff has done to help move these products forward in the marketplace. And with that, we'll send it back to you, Susie.
For more great beef meal ideas and recipes, head to beefitswhatsfordinner.com. We're continuing to get photos from ranches and farms from across the country. Let's take a look at this week's Legacy Photos. Please keep sending those photos. To do so, head to cattlemen-to-cattlemen.org for more information. Next week, we'll bring you highlights from the Foot and Mouth Disease Prevention Summit. Plus, a look at how cattle producers can safely and effectively use growth enhancements. Plus, we'll have your latest news and market headlines. Thanks for joining us on NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen. Be sure to tune in next week. A new episode airs every Tuesday night at 8:30 Eastern Time right here on RFD TV.